Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast, where each week we belly up to the bar with a new guest, find out what they do, who they are, and what makes them great. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the Above the Bar podcast. It's your host, Sean. We've bellied up to the bar tonight. It is November 19th, 1 week before Turkey Day. And if you know me, I've already got the brine picked out. I've already got everything ready to go. We'll be smoking that bird. This is the first year that I'm going to say a horrible word about my turkey. We're going to spatchcock it. So look at that. And if you're in our gay's face, she's like, the hell's he going to do to a poor turkey? But that's all right, because I'll be the turkey in this entire conversation, because how lucky am I to have somebody considered as an American sweetheart joining us all the way from one of the many, there's like 15 or 35 boroughs. I don't know. I don't know how any of the stuff down in New York City, where it's the only place I know of that cares about boroughs and whatnot, unless you're a Badger or something like that. But joining us here's where I'm really going to get myself in trouble, folks, if you know me, because I don't remember if it was Brooklyn or the Bronx, because I don't know the difference between one and the other, as I'm getting shot a dirty look right now. So I'll do my best. So joining us all the way down from New York City, it's Miss Jackie DiMaggio.
Hi.
Which one is it? Is it Brooklyn or Bronx?
The Bronx.
Bronx. See, I told you. If you'd have reminded me and like said, hey, listen, idiot, a Bronx tale, think about it like that, I'd have been like, that would have made sense to me. That would have stuck in my head. And also just popping into the background right now, as I can just, he's got his favorite hat on and everything. I'm just going to let him stare at me, and then he can't actually say anything at this moment, is the man that actually found Miss Jackie, our own personal maestro here, Mr. James. I almost said Miss. Mr. James Norkowicz. Hello there, good sir. James, are you there? Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
There he is, right there. I knew we'd find.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm trying to figure out a good way to put us all on the screen together here, but I'm failing miserably. So we're going to keep playing with this for a moment, see which one's better. Nope, we're going to go with this one.
I'll sit at the bar.
See, listen, I'm sitting at my bar. It's perfect. I love this. So we're going to be talking about Jackie, her music career, how she's progressed where she is. We're going to play some of her music. But before we get too far into all these type of things, let's go ahead and take care of some house cleaning. As always, folks, we got the big board over my right shoulder here. That's for Sticker and a Cause. You got something you believe in, something you're supporting. I don't care if you're a musician, a podcast, or whatever it is, you got your own TV show. Reach out to me on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. Our Facebook page, our website is the Above the Bar Podcast.com. Our email is abovethebarpodcast@gmail.com. Reach out to me. I'll tell you where to send everything out. Everybody will get to hear a little bit about what you've got going on, get a little bit of free advertising out of that deal. Next, let's talk about the people to pay the bills around here. That is Budget Blinds of East Greenbush, Hudson, Coxsackie, and Schoharie, Clifton Park, and Delmar. Jackie, you live in New York. Do you know where any of those places are?
No.
Jackie, what's up? Here's where we're going to have a little New York City quiz as we do this commercial here. Jackie, okay. Where does upstate start?
Oh, upstate. For me, anything past Westchester County.
I knew it. There you go, folks. There's how you can tell someone's really from New York City, is you ask them where upstate starts. And if they don't say just past Yonkers, they're not really from New York City.
Yeah. Well, I'm not originally from New York City. So I moved here a couple of years ago. But I was like 15 minutes away in Westchester. I was in Pelham. So I was like right next to the Bronx. So I just moved a couple miles south.
That makes perfect sense to me. But as always, folks, we're talking about that Budget Blinds. They've got custom window treatments, blinds, shades, shutters, drapery, window tint, you name it. They take care of all of it. They're your number one custom window treatment company in America. They even got locations in Canada. Here in the capital region, got a couple more days left. They're running a sale called their Triple 50. That's 50% off of one window treatment, 50% off of installation, and 50% off of shipping. So if you got that big window, you don't know what to do with it, this is your time. If you're in the capital region, to reach out to your local Budget Blinds. They're happy to help you out. That's Budget Blinds of East Greenbush, Hudson Cooksaki, Schoharie, Del Mar, and Clifton Park. I almost forgot all of them. Reach out to them. They'll be more than happy to help you out. And as always, folks, if you tell them you're there to belly up to the bar, they're going to give you another 5% off the entire thing. Our favorite Orchid is over here already dropping all kinds of messages and surprise faces and everything for us. All right there, Miss Jackie. So everything's done. I want to make sure I got this. And I told her, I said, all my notes, I keep them on the left, so I'm not ignoring her. I just got to go ahead and look over here and get my notes together. How are you, James? James, can you hear us, James?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I was wondering if you can hear me.
It's very faint, but I can. Technology's not my friend today, so.
All right. Yours is moving at the speed of smell. Understood. So let's go through this a little bit real quick here, Jackie. So when did you gain the title? Let's start with this. You gained the title of America's Sweetheart. When did that happen?
That actually happened this year.
Okay.
Yes. So probably the beginning of 2025. I just started to think about it, and I was like, I kind of need something like a little bit catchy. I'm really proud of who I am as an American. And I do a lot of anthems for a lot of different, organizations, different places. And I just want to spread my light, my love to people. I want to touch their hearts. And I feel like that's kind of really right under the title, America's Sweetheart. I just want to be.
So is that your title you gave yourself, or somebody gave it to you?
Well, James actually helped me create that title a little bit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just feel like the movement that we're going to talk about, of course, the movement that we're doing. It's really just to spread our light to people and to, heal people through music and to touch people's hearts. I think that in this day and age, it's so important because there's so many people that are just dealing with all the craziness and all the bad stuff that's going on around us. I mean, we all have to just be together, and why can't everybody just love each other? I mean, I know that sounds so Miss USA pageant, something like that. But, yeah. I feel like everybody needs to stick together, especially all of us Americans. And I feel like our country is becoming divided and people are hurting, and it's all over. And it's horrible. So I felt like, I'm giving myself the title America's Sweetheart. I mean, it's kind of interesting. Some people are like, oh, how did you get the name? And, I tell them, I just really want to spread joy. I want to spread love, and I want to spread hope and faith through my music to touch people's hearts. And that's really how I got the title.
I like it. I mean, I definitely dig that. Well, let's do this real quick. So we got a little something keyed up here already from Jackie. Let me see how well my technology works. This is the first time doing it this way. Normally I download it and everything else, and I wanted to try this. So we got a little something here. So tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here, Jackie.
Okay, so I actually won the title, not from this show, but Miss Italian American Idol of New York. And I'm very proud of my Italian background, also my Italian heritage. So I started singing Connie Francis, which I'm going to do the song by Connie Francis. I started singing probably when I was 3 or 4 years old. I started listening to her songs. And years later, I started singing Connie Francis songs and music because a lot of the crowds that I was performing in front of were a little bit older. So they know her very well. And this song is called Al di là. And it's in Italian. And you could also hear there's an English part of it as well. So if you don't understand the Italian, you'll understand, the part I sing in English. And it just means beyond. This was the song that I won Miss Italian American Idol with.
Wow.
So it's very special. This was at the Paramount Theater. And yeah, a lot of people really enjoy this song because it's very heartfelt. And I really feel it because I started singing it and learning it at such a young age with my grandfather. So
All right. Well, we're going to get into it, play a little clip here from it, and give everybody an idea. This is, oh, I don't want to do that. This is, now, what's the Aldi La? Is that, am I saying that?
Correct.
Listen, my people are all from Palermo, so we say Sicilian, don't even say Italian, and I don't speak a lick. Not
Okay.
one lick. So here we go. All right. I wanted to go the whole thing, but I'm not going to get James. Am I getting in trouble because I played too much of the song? Like, I'm not going to get in trouble.
No, you should be fine.
I should be all right. Because I don't know how that all works. Next thing I know my luck. I played too much of the doggone song, and the next thing I know, somebody's going to be like, ooh, you're done. You didn't hear the song? Oh, you couldn't hear the whole song at all? Oh, my wife said she couldn't hear the song at all. Could you guys hear it?
I couldn't hear it either.
Really? My wife come running down and said she couldn't hear the song at all. All right, I suck, folks. And we won't do this that way anymore. So if you want to hear Jackie's whole song, make sure you're going on to either her website, Jackie, JACKIE DiMaggio.com. And then look, and Orchid's over here saying, I couldn't hear it. My wife's saying, play it. Listen, I'm trying to figure out how to play it. Listen, all right, Jackie, putting you on the spot. Start singing, Jackie. Let's do it. Make it happen. How much of it you want to sing?
Na, 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 al di là del bene più prezioso ci sei tu. Al di là del sogno più ambizioso ci sei tu, al di là delle cose più belle, al di là delle stelle ci sei tu, al di là ci sei tu per me, soltanto per me. Al di là means you are far above me, very far. And every star that lights the way above me to where you are, just to measure your worth, I'd move heaven and earth to be near you. You're my life, you're my love, you're my own. I'll be loved. La, 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 la. So you get the idea.
I get the idea. I get the chills too. Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
Listen, I can sing row, row, row your boat. How about that? That's about the best you're going to get out of me. Wow. So I'm always fascinated by people with talents like yours. But my curiosity really gets me when I talk to folks. Was this like a natural talent? Like you were the kid that was walking around the house singing? Or was this like, hey, I really think I can sing, and mom and dad spent the mortgage money to send you to the singing classes. You know what I mean? Like, which one was it for you?
Well, I started singing at 3 years old. My mom and dad my mom noticed that I was able to hum in perfect pitch before I could even talk full sentences. And she noticed that And then, you know, as I started to sing a little bit more and started talking, and I started singing in church at 3 years old. And I just continued on ever since. And of course, you know, I did do, I was trained in music, and I took singing lessons from the age of, I believe it was around 6 to 18 years old. And yeah, I kind of just entered myself into any little niche that I could find that had to do with singing, whether it was, you know, drama plays in my school, you know, competitions. I did a couple of things with radio stations, you know, when I was a kid, and they were like, oh wow, like, you know, this little girl could sing, and I felt like a lot of people fell in love with my voice. I had a lot of people coming over my house because I lived in a big Italian family, and my grandparents were in the house that I was born in the house where they were living. And so my mom and dad and my sister and my grandparents were all in the house, and we always had people coming over. My mom is one of 7 children. My dad is one of 3 children. So we had a lot of cousins, a lot of aunts, a lot of friends, and everybody would come over, and I would be the entertainer for the night.
That
at
is
every party,
amazing.
every event, everything. So I started at church, though. Really started at church, performing in front of large audiences, in front of. Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely amazing. So you're going through this process, and I mean, listen, James will tell you. Him and I've talked about this many times. From a career standpoint, it's damn near, you know, as hard as shooting an arrow at the moon. You know, it's not the easiest thing. Was there ever a time where people were like, "Look, Jackie, you got a great voice. You know, Father Guido Sarducci loves hearing you sing at church on Sunday, but reality of it is, you know, there's no money in this." Did you ever hear that, or was it always like, you know, full steam ahead?
I guess I have heard that, you know, here and there, not as much. And I just feel like, you know, I feel like it is a hard industry to be in, especially now. I feel like back in the day, it was a little different than it is now. But I never let it bother me. I've done a lot of things. I've done a lot of, you know, things throughout my career already. And I just don't let that really bother me. I don't let that noise really bother me. I do it more for a deeper purpose, to share my gift. Like I said, I want to spread my light. I want to spread the love to people. I want people to be happy and come to my show and leave with something that not everyone can offer them. And I feel like it's more of a mission for me than anything else. And it's the God-given talent that he gave me. So I have to share it with the world.
That's amazing. Look, folks, again, if you're curious and you want to know what Jackie's got going on, obviously you can check out her YouTube page, Jackie DiMaggio, JACKIE, and then her website is -DiMaggio, DIMAGGIO.com. So you're getting into this, you're singing. As I was kind of double checking some of the notes here, you know, you've been with a lot of charitable organizations. How do we end up with the Lighthouse Project?
Well, James made me the vice president of the Lighthouse Project. And that's kind of what I just said, how that's our mission, just to like help people and heal people through music and help families are in need. You know, people are struggling. It's hard to live. It's hard to live anywhere really now.
Amen.
And it's just, you know, people are hurting. People are hurting more than ever. And I feel like we can step in and spread a little bit of light, even if it's a little bit. It's better than nothing. And I feel like there's so much going on in the music industry, and they're not spreading good messages. They're not spreading light. They're not spreading the good message. And what is a good message? I mean, some people feel like it's one thing and other people feel like it's another thing. I feel like if I could spread a little bit of hope, a little bit of faith, a little bit of love, that's my good message. And that's how I feel God is using me and James as well to spread that to people. And that's really James can take it away with the Lighthouse Project and tell you everything about it, all the ins and outs. I know he has a lot that he wants to talk about.
Before we get into that, James, how did you actually discover Jackie to start with?
So you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Apologize for the technical difficulties on my end. So it was through one particular thing that I was doing, and I had the opportunity to interview someone that actually worked well with Jackie. But it was, when I say truly a miracle, I was researching something else, and long story short, and we probably repeated this story 1,000 times. My dog knocked the power supply, and all of a sudden, my computer rebooted, and on Instagram, there's Jackie. And I started listening to, she worked with Peabo Bryson. I saw the obvious, which we'll get into. And outside of having an amazing voice and someone who does have perfect pitch and is charismatic, and I tell you, when she shows up, she's ready to play. And thing is, she's a real person. She's not somebody who's living in a headspace. It's like, I'm better than everybody else. I'm not saying this because I know her well. She can blow half the people out of the water that are in the industry. And she is a pure diamond, a pure gem. And so when we started to talk and sharing our backgrounds and our stories and our belief systems and just everything, our stories connected. And when you're working with someone, especially in this industry, if you're able to, lock horns and, it takes everything out and you're ready to make music and you're ready to develop and you get someone's backstory, you get to have the ability to know them better in a shorter period of time than people you've known and worked with for 14 years or 15 years. And I mean, I'm absolutely blessed because, again, she has just such an amazing voice and she's got soul like you wouldn't believe. And I'm not putting you on the spot, but if she were to sing Alicia Keys, it's like you go from this to this.
I'm not putting you on the spot, but I'm saying, I'm putting you on the spot.
You could put me on the spot. I don't mind.
That's what
I mean. She can slay Whitney without a doubt. But then but then when she's relating to her fans and relating to her family, she's the same person. And in this industry where we hear so many people are in jail for doing this and these parties and this and that and everything else and otherwise, nobody really horns on what makes music great and what makes music real. And we are the people that we believe and we study and we know, and we're always adapt to. If we don't know something, we learn it. And just very quickly, in terms of the Lighthouse Project, the three biggest demographics, are seniors, our veterans, and our kids. Music heals, and music is transcending amongst ages, people. Everybody goes through something. Everybody has something. But when you notice, like people, Alzheimer's patients, for example, I love to use this example, that they can't remember what they just ate 5 minutes ago, but then they hear a song, and especially when Jackie tells that story, they can remember something that happened 70 years ago, 80 years ago. And just as of recently, on my YouTube, there was a gentleman, 93 years old, for the song I'll Be Seeing You. He tipped me $5 and said, "Thank you for making me cry and remember what life is all true and about." And this is why I love working with Jackie. This is why we do what we do, because if we can make a difference and touch one person's heart, we're doing our job.
I want to pause you on. I mean, listen, one of the things you said that I'm very curious of, and I've seen tons of videos about this where people, community leaders talk about, different music artists. Hey, look, the music you make is either overtly sexual, overly sexual, is violent, promotes violence. Um, what do you, I mean, and listen, you can go as far back as you want. Music has always been these things. It's always told these stories, but it was a little bit more of a subtle innuendo towards those things. If you didn't catch that, that's actually a lyric from a song. Subtle innuendos. Adamant. Do you know who that is, Jackie Adamant?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to sneak that one in. I guess it failed. James got it because we're old farts.
A little bit younger, but
we're old farts. But I snuck that one in there. But reality of it is it used to be a much more of a subtle thing, and now it's every song, Two Live Crew when we were kids was like, oh my God, I can't believe they're saying these things. Now it's like every song you would be like, that's very subtle. Like they're very subtle about what they say. Mm-hmm. Why do you think the music industry has gone away from the world of the Whitney Houstons, the Debbie Gibsons, the mall rock as it was called, that era of where it was the poppy was much more subtle towards anything they were saying? Why do you think we don't see that anymore?
I don't really know. I just feel like everything is changing, and as the world around us changes, and I at first thought they started running out of ideas. So I was like, well, maybe, if, they're a little different and they're a little bit more explicit with their words and their message, maybe they'll catch people's attention. And that's exactly what it did. And especially a lot of our youth is listening to all this garbage that they're putting out. And it's messing people up. It's giving them thoughts. It's giving them ideas, bad thoughts, bad, everything is like about murdering and drugs and just, it's horrible. And I feel like, once one person does it, the next person jumps on the bandwagon, and then the next person, and then the next person. And it just got out of hand. And I'm just like, this has to stop, because there's so much mental illness. There's so many people that want to take their own life. There's so many people that are insecure about themselves, especially with all this social media stuff. You look perfect on social media. You look like you're supposed to look like this. You're supposed to look like that. And it's just all garbage. It's all garbage. And I hate the fact that they're doing it to our youth. I mean, there's this thing going around with 6-7. I don't know if you heard of that, but I mean,
we talked about age of kids. I got an 8-year-old. Listen,
right?
It's a whole thing.
It's terrible behind it, and and they don't even. They're so innocent that they don't even really understand the full message. And I don't even understand the full message, but I've heard.
I watched the whole thing on it. Do you know what it's about? Do you know where it comes from, though? Honestly,
I heard a song.
So it came from a song where somebody was referencing a basketball player.
Okay.
Because he was 6'7", and then it really didn't take off till a viral video where it was a totally separate basketball game, and some kid, he looked like he was like somewhere between 11 and 13. The guy like dunked a basketball, and he started doing the 6'7" thing like this in the video. The kid did. That's where it came from. It's not anything else beyond that. But I was curious as you were saying that. So you're, I'm not going to get into ages, but you're a parent. And so as am I. Were your feelings towards these type of things the same prior to be a parent, or when you became a parent, were you a little more aware, like, hey, I never thought about like the songs I was singing were this. Now I see what my kids are seeing. How did that come about for you?
So I've always sang, I should say I've always sung clean music. I've listened to things that aren't clean. And when I was younger and I was going out and, going out with my friends. Of course, you hear that, but it's just so much more now. And I'm definitely more aware that I'm a mom of two, a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old. It's scary because these kids are listening to garbage. And I never sang any of that garbage. I refused because it was just the way that I was raised, in a very Christian family. And I'm sticking to that. And I never drifted away. My music has always been to spread joy, to spread hope, to do things that I really feel in my heart. Like I could sing any song you want me to sing, but if I'm not feeling that song, I'm not going to do it, and that's kind of like, I don't want to sing garbage. I don't want to spread that. That's not the message that I want to spread. But I feel like if I could do the flip side of it and spread a good message, then I'm just one more person spreading a good message to somebody who might need to hear it. And there's been plenty of times, as James knows, because I've told him, there's been plenty of times where I've performed in front of, a crowd, and the people just come up to me and they're like, you nailed it. And you brought me back to my grandmother's kitchen when we were cooking, and it's good times. It's like you're bringing them back to good times. So I don't only do oldies. I mean, I do anything from the 50s on to now, but the message that you have to spread, the message in the mission that we're on, it's so important to bring positivity out of that music. And that's what I'm trying to do. And I think that's what James is trying to do as well.
Popping up to say hello here real quick. Former guest. What's up, brother? How you been? I'm real quick. So first off, when you said sing anything, the first thing that came to me was Ave Maria. So if you ever get a moment, that was the first. I don't know why that came to. I think it was because the other stuff you sang. That was absolutely the first song that came to mind to me was Ave Maria. But it really, I mean, it's a very interesting thought here. Just to kind of dig into this, I mean, I imagine, and you correct me if I'm wrong, before meeting James and going on with the Lighthouse Project. And again, folks, if you're curious what Jackie's got going on, why does that keep up? If you're curious what Jackie's got going on, you can check her out at Jackie, JACKIE.DiMaggio, DIMAGGIO.com. You can see what she's got going on. But as I'm hearing you talk, I'm imagining you made some forays into trying to go into like bigger music industry, correct?
Yes.
Did you ever, in that process, were you ever approached in a way where somebody was like, we want you to be this person, whether it be more sexually oriented or any of those kind of things, where you just had to say, no, that's not me, and I'm not doing that? Because I think a lot of young girls don't realize that's coming. There's pigs out there, and that's coming.
Yeah. So fortunately enough, that never really happened to me. And there probably was one instance where it was kind of like that, but I kind of just ignored it. It wasn't really important. I was like, whatever, kind of like just whatever. I'm gonna stick to my path here, and they could go over there if they want, but I'm gonna stick on my path. Because no one's gonna dictate to me what to do. Because if I don't feel it in my heart, I'm not gonna deliver very well. You know what I mean? Like I can't be somebody. I can't be somebody that I'm not. I just can't. And the way that I'm talking to you is the same way I talk to my audience. It's the same way I talk to the people when I meet them after a show. I love that. I love connecting with people. I love hearing what I did for them, what came out of my music that they heard, and that what I made them feel in that moment. And that's what's most important to me. It's really the connection.
That takes a lot, because I think some people get James and I have talked about the things he had to do. And I mean, people really, don't want to have that like self-control. I mean, he had to play in the band Chicago one time. I mean, how dare he? I mean, he had to suck it up and be like their drummer or something once. I mean, who wants to do that?
I mean, really,
I mean, who wants to do that? Throw that right out
you
there.
know, just touching something really quickly. We live in an age where it's a 30-second cancel culture. It's like, if you can't capture somebody in 30 seconds, like when we were growing up, we had when I say idols, we had positive role models, positive people who went and sang, and it wasn't they weren't spreading a message. Yeah, that message was hidden. Like, for example, Saving All My Love for You by Whitney Houston, and Jackie and I've talked about this. There's a hidden message in there. But my point is that when you're an artist, now it's so hyper focused on sexuality, it's hyper focused on how can I get your attention, and how can I make you think and feel things that are inappropriate for kids at a young age who can't even handle just day-to-day reality. And I don't care. Yeah, I mean, when you're 10 years old and you're 11 years old, and you're talking about, there's one artist, she's very popular and was just recently on Saturday Night Live, and they're talking about, multiple partners and this like that. How is that a role model to someone at that age? They're absorbing it, and kids aren't stupid. I mean, yeah, we had the True Life Crew, but it was kind of out there.
I didn't mean to bring up True Life Crew, Uncle Luke. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring Uncle Luke up.
I mean, listen, I'm not saying that Jackie doesn't sing Pony, okay? But not. I'm kidding. But, if you gotta break the tension there. But I mean, that's something that you're seriously not gonna find with an artist like her. And that's when you hear the tone and you just hear the vibrancy. I mean, it makes you go back to the Debbie Gibson. It makes you go back to the Mariah. It makes you go back to the Whitney. It makes you go back to when music was great, because people wrote for those voices. And people aren't doing that now because it's cheap, quick, and easy to pop something and a drum machine and a production board, go out there, put it on a TikTok video, put it on social media, and guess what? They'll say, man, if you ain't cool and you ain't hip and you ain't this and you listen to this guy. And we used to have to buy albums. We used to have to go to the record store. Now you can stream it for free. Hold on,
that's a whole conversation. That's a whole, like, we've talked about this one here, where you dropped $16 on an album, and you had no idea back then, like, was this gonna be good? Like, I liked one song, and you could like one song, and then all of a sudden, but the rest of it was garbage. Or the other side of it is, you ended up with bands like Nirvana, Pearl Jam. Gosh, I don't like Green Day, but some people like Green Day. But like all these bands that then you got into the album, you're like, this entire thing is an entire epic. Like, there's no bad songs on here. Where today, I honestly, very few artists can I tell you what outside of the hit song. Now, this is another thing though, and folks, we've made a hard left. We're making a hard left right now into different things with music. I have two of my sons love 21 Pilots. You know what those bands do that they love 21. But you know what those bands do that I've never seen in music, and I'm curious what Jackie's thoughts are on this, is these bands have built lore. Like back in the day, Kiss was probably the closest band that I ever knew that had a little bit of lore to the characters they played, because they had movies and they were on Scooby-Doo and they had all these things. Bands like 21 Pilots have full-blown lore built into their marketing, where like they'll drop something on Instagram or drop a comment on X, and these kids go out and dissect the entire thing, and they're like, oh, they said happy. That means he's look at those letters work out to this. That means that's the date that the next album's going to drop. And sure as shit, the album drops that day, and you're like, how much of this is real, or how much did they like mechanically put together? What do you guys think about like bands that are creating, like that wasn't a thing when we were kids. Like they're creating lore about these bands. We just had rumors. Like Ozzy bit the head off of a chicken. Like we knew that, but we didn't have lore of this stuff. What are your thoughts?
Now, I think it's a lot easier now because we have all this social media. And I just feel like social media there's so many people that are influenced by other people on social media. So it's like one person thinks something, then the next person's going to think, and they're going to be like, oh, that's why. And like, and then, it's like the game of telephone. Kind of. It's like the telephone game. And you misinterpret the message. The message is completely different by the time you get to the 20th person. So I don't really know. I just feel like because of social media and because of the way the internet has just boomed with this generation, and there's so much influence out there, kids are looking for somebody who they want to be like on social media, or somebody who they follow, and I want to be like this one, or this person's listening to this music, I'm going to listen to it now. It's like no one has their own ideas anymore. It's like everyone's following something, following an agenda, following something, and a lot of it's not good. Because there's just so much, like I said, we're going back to this now, like there's so much hurt, there's so much worry, it's just hard to live now. So people are getting into that whole like depression mode, and it's like we got to bring people out of that. And I know it's a lot easier said than done, right? But if I could feel like I could contribute to that, then let me do my part. What God has given me, let me shine my light. Let me spread joy.
I know exactly what Z's thinking here. He said group think. And it's a group think. Like it goes back to that old saying, a person is smart, people are stupid. If you don't understand what that means, think about it for a moment. Yeah. It'll sink in. So, and real quick, because we're getting close, we're going to make this last call because I had another question based on what you were saying here. So let's go ahead and do the New Scotland Spirits last call. Let's be honest. Most whiskey is playing it safe, but not this one. New Scotland Spirits doesn't care about trends. Listen, we're right into it. Trends, hypes, or gimmicks. They make bold, small batch whiskey the old school way with real grain, real fire, and zero tolerance for weak pours. This is the kind of bottle you bring to the table when you give a damn, or better yet, when you don't. So stop sipping the same boring stuff and pour something with guts. Visit newscotlandspirits.com. Grab a bottle that actually says something. New Scotland Spirits for those who give a dram. If you don't know what a dram is. What do you like that one? Give a dram. So back to what you're saying, though. So let's go back into Lighthouse here for a second. So all the things you're saying, Jackie, sound great, sound awesome. We've cured the world. How does Lighthouse, and we know, and I get the idea, Lighthouse shining in the darkness and all that, but how does Lighthouse, and how do you and James and anyone else involved with this project break through all the stuff that's very easy? Let's call it what it is. We can, you've said 100 times, God's given you these gifts, but how do you break through what the devil's put in place? Let's call it what it is. If you don't say it, it ain't never there. So how do you break through that?
It's getting out through the. Oh.
I'm going to say one word. Prayer.
I like it.
And it's getting out into the community. It's getting with the people, and you're not going to have everybody's going to be on your side. And so sometimes it's walking to a den of thieves and a den of liars, and what music will do will change their thought, will change their opinion. Sometimes you wonder why people are so happy, and you wonder why, amidst the trials and the tribulations that they are going through, how come they have this innate ability to persevere and get through what they need to get through. And we all go through something. We all suffer through something. We all have our own lives, our prerogatives, our families, our children. But what the Lighthouse Project does, we get out and through performing, through outreach, through getting hands-on with the people and communicating and saying, look, we'll extend that hand, we'll help you. You give us a mile, you give us an inch, we'll run a mile. But it's having that conversations like Charlie Kirk did. It's having those conversations and saying, this is not about party. This is not about color. This is not about ethnicity. This is about who we are as God's chosen people.
That's tough, man. Like that's a heavy message. I mean, call that what that is. That's a heavy message.
And we all bleed the same, right? We all bleed the same.
Listen, last time I checked, it's all red.
Right.
I mean, that's a heavy message, and it's an uncomfortable message because
listen,
socially, a lot of people don't hear it.
But if you're not uncomfortable, then you don't want to change. Listen, life isn't easy. Every day is not easy for people. We have aches and pains, and no matter how old you are or how young you are. But if you don't step out of your comfort zone, how can you change as a person? How can you change as an artist? How can you change as a mother or father, a son, a daughter?
How could you be better?
Exactly. And, you've got to be willing to say, I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to do this. I know veterans who have gone and had PTSD. And, every freaking day, man, is a fight. Every day is a struggle. But once we start having this conversation and show you that through music, through faith, through just reaching out and getting out there, we can play a part in aiding how you feel and make a change for the better, not for the worse. Because you could have all the big pharma, you could have all the politicians. It doesn't mean anything. Because when you're doing it the right way, the way God has instructed you to do and carry things out, He'll give you all the tools that you need. All you have to do is go ahead and do the work.
I absolutely agree with you there. So let's talk a little bit about this work. So tell me some of the things that you guys got going on, some of the projects, some of the different things that you're doing right now to get that word out. Because if I'm hearing Lighthouse right, and you tell me if I'm hearing it wrong, this is a faith-based project to kind of change that's bringing music in a different way to people, kind of a different tone. How are you doing this? Like what things are out there? It's great that we're talking about like what needs to change, but how are you being the change?
Well, everything from lining up from a performance value, of course, with Jackie spearheading the performance,
You sing, Jackie? You sing? I didn't know that.
Right now, as we're headed into Christmas, we're just, and I should say Thanksgiving and Christmas, we're working our things that we have planned, like, and Jackie can share that. But, in 2026, it's live events. It's going into, multiple states and say, hey, we're doing this here. We're doing this for seniors. We're doing this for veterans.
Tell me a little bit about what are you doing? Tell me some of the locations.
Well, right now, I've spoken to a couple places here in Connecticut, right in my own backyard, which happens to be Glastonbury and then New Haven County, and where I grew up in Bridgeport, and a good friend of mine. He's a veteran. He's kind of working more Jackie's area to set things up in Bronx and Brooklyn, and all the 5 boroughs. And once we start solidifying dates, it'll be on my website. Eventually, it'll transpire into the actual site. In addition to everything else that we're doing individually, all the things that we're doing with the Lighthouse Project will be on both my site and on the site as well. So just keep tuned to, again, social media for that. And, and then there's a lot of things again, when you start something like this, it's at first it's a lot of pop-ups until you can actually get some significant things in line. So, we had some good experiences with some things this year, and reaching out to people and opening the conversation and opening the dialogue. And now it's getting more and more people aboard, getting more venues that we can bring more people into, so that it's not we're not just, it's our families and a couple stragglers that come around. And it's spreading the word, engaging people, and giving things for people to have hope, have a chance to be interactive, and that's beginning with creating the interactivity. And with what's coming up, with what Jackie's going to be doing, it's more people should be able to get to know her through the exposure. And that helps. That does help the cause as well.
Well, what do you got going on then, Jackie? Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, Christmas is very important to us.
Seven fishes? We doing seven fishes?
Yeah.
Seven fishes.
Yeah, right. We do all that.
Are you doing seven fishes? We were a pan of lasagna. We weren't seven fishes. We were like good lasagna.
No.
Seven fishes?
Yeah.
Nah, we were like lots of lasagna. Grandma.
No, we do the fish for Christmas Eve. And actually, I'm going out this year for Christmas Eve, so I don't know how much fish I'm going to actually have. But it's funny because the holidays bring a lot of joy to people, but the holidays also bring a lot of sadness to people. So I feel like because we're so joyful about the holidays, we also think about our loved ones who have gone and passed, and the people that used to be at our holiday dinner table aren't there anymore. And, I feel like Christmas is just such a special time for James and I. Like, we just love it, that we're really working on the Christmas aspect of things right now. But it's funny because a couple of weeks ago, I got a message, and, I was planning on going to my sister's house for Thanksgiving. And of course, I probably would give them a performance when I'm there, and like I do everywhere. And I got a message saying from the Charlotte Hornets that they want me to do the national anthem at their stadium. So I will be traveling on Thanksgiving. I will be driving out to North Carolina with my husband.
Nice.
And I will be singing at the Charlotte Hornets game. So
that's awesome.
Friday.
Who are they playing?
And
do you know
they are actually playing the Bulls, which is so funny because the person who asked me for the day before Thanksgiving, and they're playing the Knicks. That would have been perfect.
Right? That would have been even better.
That would have been perfect. But I actually have another engagement that day, and I think it would be a little crazy to drive all the way from New York to North Carolina on the day before Thanksgiving. So I'm going to just wait another 24 hours and drive the day after.
So you're going to go so are you getting Chinese food on Thanksgiving then? Like you're going to go like the full on.
I know Chick-fil-A is closed, unfortunately.
No. Listen, hold on. Stop. Pause. Left turn. You're in North Carolina. You do not get Chick-fil-A.
Why?
You know what you go? No.
Yeah.
You get
Really?
You get Bojangles.
Okay.
Do you know what Bojangles is?
I don't even know what that is.
Jackie, I'll cancel you right now.
I don't even know.
Oh my God! Listen. So in North Carolina, if I'm having North Carolina and I'm having chicken, I'm going to Bojangles, getting sweet tea, getting a bowberry biscuit, and I'm getting a warm sweet potato pie.
Well, that sounds right up my alley, so I'm going with you.
Dude, I haven't eaten dinner. I haven't even eaten dinner yet, and I'm like,
listen, the bowberry biscuit. It's a blueberry biscuit with a glaze like you would get it like Cinnabon on top of the biscuit. Their chicken is off the chain. Their dirty rice is next level, and this is all fast food. Now, if you really are feeling it, though, you go get Church's chicken. Church's Chicken is like normally in like a gas station somewhere. Like
I'm just so surprised I haven't heard of that because my mother-in-law and father-in-law live in South Carolina and we're there usually every year, every other year.
They don't take you to Bojangles?
No, I've never heard of it.
Yes, listen, they're doing you dirty. They're doing you dirty. Don't visit them people no more. I'll give you a great story as we're kind of winding down. I've told this story. My wife's probably watching right now. So my youngest was like a baby, less than a year old. We were going down to see my son in Charleston. He was in the Coast Guard at the time. We stopped to visit my stepmother in North Carolina. As we're leaving her house, me and two of my sons were like, we're getting Bojangles for lunch. And my wife was like, I'm not having no Bojangles. I don't even know what that is. She's from up here. She's like, I'm not having that. I said, well, you can watch us eat while we eat it. Because we're all like, this is what we want. Mm-hmm. The basket was so big, like the thing we got, that we put the baby in it.
Oh my gosh.
And it was so much like biscuits and chicken and Bowberry biscuits and blah, blah, blah. When Valentine's Day comes around, they do heart-shaped Bowberry biscuits.
Oh, that's cute.
And it was so like before it was all over with, though, this person who wanted nothing to do with it, we ate there 5 times on that trip.
Okay.
By far, like if Bojangles was anywhere outside of like that area,
I have to try now.
Popeyes would be done.
I have to go.
Popeyes ain't shit in the Carolinas.
Oh no. I mean,
So I'm sorry. Left turn. We hit that spot like that, and then when I'm out there, I don't know if in that area they'll have Smithfields. I love Carolina pulled pork.
That's I've had that.
Yeah, there's a chubby kid that's in my soul, but that's so awesome. Now, you're getting ready to go out and do something like that and these different things. I'm just curious, like listening to your message, have you guys ever thought about like starting with just going to churches and saying, hey, we want to do a cantata and we'll sing with your own house choir, that kind of stuff to start the message at that level and then move on?
We've talked about that. We've talked about that, and that's going to be January of 2026 to kind of bump that stuff out for the year. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's this has been a year of us getting to know one another and be able to collaborate and to really get to know one another and then to build on what God has given. And there's so much has happened in such a short period of time. And I only see things pulling more into fruition. And, I mean, when you hear this little lady sing, and I mean, I'm just hearing, she's got one of those voices. And I just have to say this, and I'm probably going to embarrass the hell out of her, but hey, I was having a bad day. And she sang a song by Charlie Chaplin, which is Smile. And it's a jazz standard. Came out in 1920. But it took my blood pressure and shrunk it down. And if that's what a human voice can do, I don't know of anything better. Yeah, then of course, yeah, as we're talking, I'm just, I Ain't Got You by Alicia. I mean, brings that whole nother element. And, Jackie, and that's what.
You got 1 minute. Give me an Ave Maria. Give me some Ave Maria.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to throw you on the spot, and then we'll close. We'll have the conversation about closing the show.
I do Ave Maria for weddings and unfortunately for funerals, but I can do Ave Maria very well.
Real quick. You ain't got to do the whole thing.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Maria, gratia plena, Maria, gratia plena, Ave, Ave Domino. Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria.
Listen, I got chills. James, you don't get to say nothing at this point. You just sit there and look pretty like you are.
Because I'm sitting too. I'm not even like able to push.
Listening to this through my headphones, and it's absolutely amazing. Listen, folks, go find Jackie, buy anything she has out there, buy 10 copies of it so that she doesn't even have to pay for gas to get down to Charlotte and all that, those kind of things. It's Jackie DiMaggio.
Support me with some follows. Just
like and follows.
Follow
go do all those things. Send her all kinds of money. Do all those kind of things. Don't listen to me. Listen, don't listen to her. That's absolute. Listen, that is absolutely chilling to the bone to hear. You have no idea how chilling to the bone is. We sidebar, and I'm going to keep my composure the best I can. I lost a good friend, 99 and a half years old. We lost him on Friday. We had his service yesterday. All he loved to do, he almost became a Catholic priest. He went through seminary and everything. And then he met his wife and said, well, she wins. Mickey won out of the deal. But all he loved to do was talk about God and sing. And he was an amazing man. He was from Long Island too. So he's one of your people. He was from Long Island. And Belle, you will be absolutely missed. This show's dedicated to you. Just hearing Jackie's voice, he would be the kind of person that if he would have made it through to this day, he'd have sent me messages about how amazing your voice was and everything else. So I can't say enough, folks. If you're finding me through Jackie or Jackie through me, make sure it's like, shares, follows. Go follow her on social media. If you're finding me through her, follow us through social media. These are the things we like to do, introducing the world to new people. Next week, it's a gentleman by the name of Justin Lund. Justin has built an exciting company. He's been through addiction recovery, lost tens of $millions in legal battles, and experienced shapes that approached his business and life. He's broken different barriers, the invisible walls, hustled to stop working, freedom, all these kind of things. I'm at a loss for words just hearing you sing. Son of a bitch. Like, absolutely just amazing. I got nothing. James, normally I would give you a last word. You don't even get a last word today, James.
No.
Come on. Because Jackie gets the last word tonight.
Well,
all I got to say is
to follow James too, because he's also just as talented in other areas.
But his talent, like he plays, listen, I've listened to James we've known each other now. He's been on the show. This is like the 4th or 5th time he's been on here. Like, what you get
so he already got his spotlight.
Listen, you get your final word in, James, and then it's Jackie's turn.
I just gotta say, told you so.
No shit. Jackie, as we do on every episode, the guest always gets the final word. Now, don't log off on me afterwards. We just got to talk for a minute. So, what is your final word tonight there, Miss Jackie?
To all the people out there who are listening, stay positive. Stay hopeful. If you connect with God the way that I do, Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, pray. And just kindness, spread kindness, smile, try to smile. It could help somebody. Just the smallest little gestures can help somebody to change the world. And if we all thought a little bit more like that, then the world would be a different place. But everybody, I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving, wonderful holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. God bless all of you. And I'd love to connect with you. So please follow me.
Alrighty, folks. Be sure to push your stool in. This has been a Second Front podcast presentation found on Apple, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found.